2, 1.
Hey everyone, so today I'm just going to do a really basic bracelet tutorial for you all, and incorporating a charm into it. Not the hardest thing, but it can be a little bit difficult if you've never done it before. So basic tools for today is going to be 2 pairs of pliers. One of them needs to be flat nosed to be able to use the crimps, side cutters, a clasp, a large and a small jump ring, crimps, the charm itself, tiger tail, and obviously the beads themselves. So grab your tiger tail, figure out roughly how much you want. I always give a fair bit extra, so I do my wrist and then some, just because it gives you some more working space. And cut it with your side cutters. The start of a bracelet is nice and easy because unlike a necklace, you don't always have to work from side to side, so you can just have one side in action. So grab 2 of your crimps, thread them on to the tiger tail, and then you can either grab your clasp or your jump ring, it doesn't really matter at this point. Double it over, pop the crimps onto the doubled over piece, pop your fingernail at the end of it and pull the long part. This just makes the loop smaller and smaller without actually pulling the crimps out from underneath of it. So grab your flat nose pliers and squish the bejesus out of both crimps. Now, what this is going to do is, if we try and thread the charm on as is without another loop on it, it will sit rather awkwardly like this. And that's okay, I don't want it like that. So grabbing your smaller jump ring, these are actually tiny, these are 3mm jump rings that I bought by accident, but they turned out quite well. What you want to do is hold it between the pliers and twist it to open out. It's a little fiddly, but so you've got an open jump ring like that. Pop it back into your pliers, pop it through the loop on your charm, and use both pairs of pliers once again to close it back up. Flat nose pliers are really good because when you get the 2 ends close together, you can use them to just squish them together all the rest of the way. And you can also use them if there's still a bit of a gap to squish them closed the other way. So now you have one with a little jump ring on it. This then allows it to sit flat against it. So you've got a flat one that's hanging out instead of one side. I always like to put the charm at the end with the jump ring because you can always use the charm to help yourself put it on as well. Totally up to you guys though. So then you can just do whichever pattern you want. I've just got some really nice copper filled beads, so these are goldstone, and I've got some nice hematite beads. So this is going to work really well for arthritis, for instance, because goldstone has a really high copper content. And hematite is used against inflammation, which is, obviously a situation with arthritis. So this will make a really good gift bracelet for anybody who has arthritis, RSIs, things like that, because both of these crystals are supposed to help out with that. Sometimes I do actually add copper beads to this, but because I've got the goldstone, I don't have to. It's really convenient. So if you want to, you can also make this longer for somebody if they have like any ankle problems, if you've got arthritis down that end of ways. Hematite is rumoured to help with increased circulation, as is copper. So that's why you tend to see a lot of those bracelets that they're even like commercially available now that have hematite in them. And there's also like magnetic ones and all that kind of thing. They're becoming really commercially popular, but without really understanding like the crystals behind them. So goldstone is one of the man-made crystals. It is actually was created. There's a couple of different stories behind how it was created actually. Basically, one of the stories was when the alchemists were messing around with trying to create lead from base metals and things, they would actually grind up a whole bunch of copper. And one day they sort of spilt glass into it and all these copper grindings submerged, became mixed through it. And that was where we got goldstone, which is why it's nice and sparkly and coppery. Another story talks about people grinding down gold and to try and make their gold go a bit further and putting it into glass and pretending that that was still gold. I don't know if that one's quite so plausible because, as you can tell, it's quite clearly coppery. But people like their stories. So, as I mentioned, goldstone is actually copper submerged in glass. And so it creates this really beautiful sparkle to it. It's a really pretty one, but it's kind of one of those ones that tends to be underused because it is a man-made stone. So that's roughly the size I want for a bracelet. It could probably even be a little bit smaller for somebody with a wrist like mine, but I'll do it a little bit larger just in case anybody else wants it. So you've got your nice ending there, all the nice bits and pieces. What you're wanting to do is grab another 2 crimps. Oops, I didn't pick up 2 then. This is where working on a nice cloth or something can be quite useful because you can actually grab things generally by squishing your finger into them and picking them up. So you've got your 2 crimps on there and then the rest of your tail and a clasp. This is a standard parrot clasp, but there's actually 925 silver, but I've got others like that. And all you're doing is threading your thread through the clasp so it's on there. Once again, folding it over and popping the beads in. Putting it through the crimps. Grab your needle nose pliers or any pliers once again and then hold on to your clasp. Then you're just pulling with the pliers. When it gets close, you might just need to shuffle the crimps down, but just keep pulling and it comes up to your desired length. So when it's at the level you want it, squish those crimps and it's done. Nice and secure. Grab your side cutters, cut it off as close to the crimps as you can. If possible, if you've got something with like a large enough hole, you can actually then get the tail. Oops, it's a little bit fiddly to do. I find this one of the hardest bits to do. And tuck it back into the crystal. So you don't have any visible tails on it at all, and so it doesn't get prickly at all. But it is really, really fiddly, so don't feel bad if you can't do it. So that is how you make a nice basic bracelet. And I mean, you can do this with chip crystal beads, you can do this with other beads, there's literally everything you can do with this. To make a necklace, you just make it bigger. That's how it works out. So thanks for staying tuned to that, and this is my nice new copper arthritis and hematite bracelet. Yeah, hopefully it worked out very well. If you have any suggestions, anything that you want to see, pop it into the comments. Like, share, all of those kinds of things. Hey, what can I say? All of these craft videos are actually free to access by anybody, so I'd be really happy if other people knew about it. Yeah, thanks for stopping by. I will talk to you all very soon.